Today is Tuesday, and it's Randy with the Debt Coach Credit Counseling Service, and we got a brand new situation and subject to talk about today. We're going to talk about credit fraud. How to identify credit fraud, especially with the holidays coming, because you know they're going to be going after you left and right to figure out a way to convince you to do this. Now, before we get started, understanding what credit fraud really is probably where we need to begin. Now, credit fraud is when people are trying to illegally collect money from you or convince you that you owe money in a situation that you may or may not owe. And they do it with strong tactics where, unfortunately, their job is to convince you to pay money, so they want to make the biggest impact they possibly can. So now let's talk about this for a second, because this is what's been going on for a long time. Now, if you have past debts, some check cashing places, some old collections, things in the caliber that's been around for a while that you haven't paid, there is an opportunity that whoever you owe that money to sold that list to somebody else for them to try to collect off of. The difference is sometimes it winds up into the wrong hands. Now, collection agencies follow the Fair Debt Collection Act. They have to, or they lose their license. So there's specific things they cannot do to collect money. One of them is to tell a third party anything. So calling your friends, calling your neighbors, calling your family members and telling them that you owe money is a dead sign that this is fraud. So keep that in the back of your mind. Follow the Fair Debt Collection Act. Understanding this helps you identify fraud the most. Number two, they're not going to call you and threaten to put you in jail. Okay, I've heard a lot of that when they're calling saying, "Hey, we're going to have you served. We're going to have you served. It's illegal. You're going to jail." Blah 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 blah. And all they're trying to do is make an impact to scare you to pay. No collection agency is going to put you in jail. It's not going to happen. If a collection agency wants to collect the money on you, they will send you notices to let you know that you owe the debt. They will file a report with the Hamilton or with your county that you're in. To file the report for debt collection, and they can go ahead and obtain judgment, and then they will go after either your paycheck or your checking account to get their money. They're not into calling everybody in the world they know to let you know you owe them money. They just don't do it. If you notice that sometimes you pull your credit report and you realize you had a couple collections out there you forgot about. That's how exciting they really are at collecting this money from you. But credit fraud's the opposite, complete opposite of what these guys are doing. Now, this is where I get a big kick, because I had a friend of mine just the other day. This company called his brother and said, "Hey, we're looking for him. He owes us money. We want to get paid. We better get a hold of us immediately." And then they turned around and called his mother. Said the same thing. Then they called his next door neighbor. Said the same thing. So I got the call from my friend going, "What in the world is going on?" And I went, "Do you owe anything out there? Is there something from the past you want to talk to me about?" And he really couldn't figure it out. So I decided, I called the number and I got the lady on the phone, and she went to left field so fast. She broke 2 to 3 different Fair Debt Collection Act policies right off the bat, because she didn't, one, figure out who I was. 2, didn't take the time to let me send over a power of attorney to speak on my behalf. She was telling me that this debt has to be paid or my friend's going to jail. That's what she said. And she didn't care, and I just immediately came back and said, "I don't mean to be too rude, but you do understand I'm a third party, and what you just said to me is beyond the Fair Debt Collection Act. So you must not be real." And it's true. I looked up, every time I get a collection or a collection call from anybody out there, and I recommend you guys doing this, just go to the internet and type the number in. Type the number in that called you. You'll find out 90% of the time if they're good or bad. It'll tell you who they are and what they are. If it comes back saying getting a lot of calls from this number, don't know who they are, it's fraud. Wow. I gotta stop pounding my desk when I do stupid things like that. FRAUD, fraud. It's absolute fraud. Anytime they call you and call your neighbors to try to collect, it's fraud. Keep that in the back of your mind. You ever experience any of this fraud situations, you pick the phone up and call a debt coach. 888-767-9155. I promise within the bottom of my heart, I'm going to solve this fraud issue that you're going through. We are going to make it better. We will get to the end of it. I will help you report to the Attorney General's offices. We will get this stopped. Just do not pay a debt you don't recognize, period. Let me say it again. Do not pay a debt you don't recognize, period. Because chances are it may be fraud. It may be real. But the one thing we do at a Debt Coach Credit Counseling Service is when you come into for our assistance, I contact all your creditors. My main goal is to find out if these debts are real or not. I want proof of debt. If I got proof of debt back, then I know it's real. We set up arrangements, we get it paid. We work on getting it cleaned up from your credit report. If it's not real, we're going to know it immediately. And at that point, we're going to report them to the credit report agency to have it cleared, and we're also going to report it to the Attorney General's office. Because we need to protect you. Your credit's too valuable for you. And unfortunately, there's too many games in the background. Now, how do these bad people come across your personal information? That's a really good question. Now, I've been working on that one. I'd like to think that there's some massive hacker who hacks into these situations and sells off this info. I'd like to believe that. But this information is way too accurate, and too much out there that something tells me it's not a hacking situation. Something tells me they're selling it. And I wouldn't be shocked if collectors or creditor companies out there are selling the list of debts that they cannot collect on. And this is turning out to going into people are paying pennies on the dollar and then going after you with a 2x4 to try to get you to pay it. And unfortunately, they're breaking every law there is in the book. And yes, those are laws they're breaking. So if it didn't seem right to you, you were right. It wasn't right. And a lot of them do it by phone. You don't get a lot of this by mail. You get a lot of this by phone. And there's a reason for that, because if they fraudulently send it through the mail, that's a federal crime. So they got to be careful. So if you get something in the mail that's not right and you get a hold of me, that could be a lot of fun together so we can get them nailed to a tree. But they usually do it by phone because there's no federal law against that. They could just basically, it's up to you to be smart enough to know that they're not real. And the best way to know that is to have me on your side. My name is Randy Williams. I solve credit fraud problems all day long, and I prevent my clients from falling to this trap. So if you want to learn more or you want to be protected, you got something you just don't get, pick that phone up, call 888-967. I can't believe I just did that. Phone number is 888-767-9155, or call me at randy@adebtcoach.org. That's adebtcoach.org. I'll answer the questions. I'll investigate it for you. This does not cost you a dime. We do not charge for this service in any way, shape, or form. We're here to help you. So if you come across anything out there that doesn't seem right, it's up to you to make that phone call so I can help prevent you from making a big error. Okay? Now, there's going to be a lot more credit fraud coming around over the next couple months. This is when the season hits, because it's Christmas, so everybody's trying to take advantage of everything. You're going to have fraud come in from nonprofit organizations looking to solicit money. Make sure before you even give money to any nonprofit organization, and that includes mine, that you investigate it and verify it completely to make sure they are a nonprofit. They have the 501c3 that helps them prove they're nonprofit. And the money does go towards charity. All nonprofits have to file reports, and the reports break down exactly what amount goes to charity and how much goes into services or payroll and things in that caliber. And Debt Coach is gladly pronounced that 25% of every dime it makes goes to charity. So as contributed back, the rest of it does go to cover services and be able to provide debt relief to clients and help people do things. We are by far your best 501c3 out there. So, credit fraud. If it happens, it's time to avoid it. If you get it, check it out. Go to the internet, put the number in, put the address in, find out who they are. If they don't seem right in any which way, shape, or form, you contact me at 888-767-9155. And together, we will get to the bottom of this credit fraud situation. We will straighten it back out, and we'll get you your life back. Because that's what we're about here at Debt Coach, owning your life. My name is Randy Williams. This has been about identifying credit fraud, and I look forward to answering all your questions and helping you prevent this in the future. Have yourself a blessed day.